Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Doctor Who because there's this wild new rumor out there that David Tennant could actually return as Jodie Whittaker's replacement.
Of course, it's a rumor.
It is a rumor.
I want to make sure I make that abundantly clear.
But it's really interesting because we know that Russell T Davies is returning to the show and that Russell T Davies is going to have complete creative control over Doctor Who. And also his production company, Bad Wolf, was acquired by Sony. Sony behind Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Sony behind Venom and Ghostbusters Afterlife. Seems like they're trying, and Cobra Kai, seems like they're trying very hard to win old school fans back these days. Right? It's one of the few things they're doing right, but it seems like they're trying very hard to appeal to existing fandoms and trying to course correct some of their mistakes, like Ghostbusters 2016. I think it's plausible. It is, because
well, they made sure that they had that one thing that the old faces could return and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That would be the Curator from the 50th anniversary special. It was Tom Baker. That's how they got an appearance by Tom Baker in there, and he basically said, yeah, you know, he said in the future you're going to revisit some old favorites, some old favorite faces, and they opened the door for the possibility to regenerate into former Doctors. I guess it makes sense. I mean, they pretty much blew the lid off of, you know, the regeneration rules anyway.
I was going to say, I mean,
what rules?
Making sense. I mean, not really, but it doesn't really matter because it doesn't have any rules.
Yeah, so let's talk about this rumor. And, you know, it's interesting, some of the media outlets out there trying to defend Chibnall's era of Doctor Who, which, in my personal opinion, needs to be completely wiped from existence if they're going to fix the show.
Like when you take toilet paper and wipe your butt.
Pretty much, yes. We need a bidet. Maybe the TARDIS has a bidet.
Yes, it's one of those times when you wipe and wipe and it won't come clean.
No.
So you need a bidet.
You need to shoot some water up in that hole to cleanse the palate of Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 254,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about Doctor Who not nearly as much as we used to because you have been checked out for years.
I didn't care.
I watched a couple episodes into Series 11. I'm like, hell no. Hell no, this is awful. And I was actually willing to give a female doctor a chance. You know, the
I was the one, actually, I was the one who was more against it than you were. I thought it was this retconning bullshit. And I didn't think she was that bad in the first episode. But then I was like, what the hell is up with the tooth monster? You know, and things like that. And I was just like, okay. It
got pretty bad pretty quick, and it was very ham-fisted, very preachy, and very boring. It became a very boring show, and we're going to talk about how they alienated their core fandom with this show, and I think it was deliberate. I think they basically want to kind of soft reboot.
It's like we see with all these other franchises. It's like, okay, let's go make it as far the other way as we can, and we're going to appeal to a new audience. We want a new audience. Thing is, they're learning real quick is that these new audiences, in quote, that they keep courting, aren't the ones that spend money. No. Aren't you do anything that they don't like, they're going to jump down. You say about fans, toxic fans. You know, you've met your match with these group of people.
Yeah, so I have to give a hat tip to Mac here on Twitter who tagged me in on this. You know, it's an interesting rumor because it does seem like they're trying to course correct Doctor Who. And what do? You bring back the person who brought Doctor Who back from the brink of death before, Russell T Davies, and you bring him back and you pair him up with another fan favorite or probably the most popular Doctor. I would say it's usually a tie between Tennant and Baker. And they have a way they could do it with the Curator, you know. So it's, you know, I think if this is what happens, I think this might actually be Sony being like, you got to fix this shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you guys have to fix Doctor Who, because Doctor Who, you talked about merchandise, it used to move merchandise. Doctor Who stuff used to sell very well.
People used to actually watch it.
Yeah, people.
I'm not trying to be a bitch, but the ratings have just gone down and down and down and down and down, and it got way worse recently.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And it went from like a high of like 10 or 11 million watched the first episode with Jodie Whittaker, and just you could see it week after week, and then season after season.
Well, as soon as it got so preachy, and people were like, "What the hell am I watching?" Yeah. And then, one of the things that came up was they didn't go with any of the villains anybody knew. The villains were, man was the villain. And it was all about agenda and preaching. And that they had this article I found today. And it was like, well, it's probably for the good that he shied away from those villains. So it became about, real issues and things, and it's like.
Yeah, like Rosa, which a lot of people checked out on the Rosa Parks episode. They're like, this is way too.
It amuses Squid King to no end that Doctor Who is why Rosa Parks was in the back of the bus.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, wow. Yeah, but the villain in Rosa is a space racist, a time traveling racist.
Right. And that's all almost all the villains were. It was usually a dude, and a dude that was, a stand-in for some, agenda of some kind to try to, look, we're going to speak out against this stuff. Now, look, they often did that with Doctor Who. They spoke out against stuff, but they did it with more finesse and fun. And then not having any classic villains in it was really stupid. And it was probably because it was cheap, but it was really effing stupid.
Yeah, and I think it was the plan. And this is the thing we see too. A lot of times, they'll do this with, they're kind of doing it with Star Trek too, where they want the new audience, right? A lot of times, so they'll do whatever they can do to kind of like scrape the toxic audience off the bottom of their shoe. And then they have to walk it back and get some fan service in there because in the process they lost all the old fans.
I love that they keep saying toxic fans because a lot of times, I'm not gonna lie, there are people that are just like ridiculous, no matter what. But a lot of people they keep going after, when you think of toxicity, that's what you think of.
Yeah.
Their shipping, their demands, their whatever, and
Well, okay, so look at Netflix She-Ra, the prime example. They basically right out of the gate said, we don't want the old fans, we don't want the old She-Ra and He-Man
painted them as evil villains right out of the gate.
Before the show even aired, months before the show aired, they were already demonizing the old show, demonizing the old fans, and they got their new audience. But now when Mattel wants to bring out another version of She-Ra on Amazon, they have this toxic fandom, legitimately toxic fandom, they have to deal with. And I don't think Mattel is going to have the support of the old school fans they told to piss off.
Well, here's the thing, too. When they talk about toxic fandoms, you have the people that were the old fans that kept it around for years. And then you have this new, it's been just in the last few years, you had this recent change where the new people come in and then they go on about acceptance and everything else as they are the most unaccepting, bigoted assholes you've ever seen in your life. Like, there is no acceptance. The acceptance, according to them, is you have to agree with them, they are, and you're one of them, or you're not allowed to be in it. Yeah. And before that, like for She-Ra example, and Doctor Who, I think is another one. It was always diverse. Like there was always a huge diverse fandom. Everybody was like, you're gonna be different than me, but that's okay because we both like Doctor Who, we both like She-Ra, and it was always united on that front. And you accepted everyone for the most part. But the new fans, it's like of these new shows, you're not allowed. They keep everything. It's like walls around it unless you identify this way and you're like this character and you're not allowed past that wall. And everybody else is just an istophobic asshole. Mm-hmm. But when reality, they're the istophobic assholes.
So reality setting in here, and I think the BBC, the BBC is in big trouble. I've done videos before talking about the situation with the license fee, and they're gonna be in Hurtsville here pretty soon if all this happens. They're not gonna have their license fee anymore. They basically hoard out Doctor Who to Russell T Davies, who turned around and sold his company to Sony. Because they have to, because I don't think the BBC can afford it. And I think, again, going back to this, like they got to win the old fans back. And the problem is that, when you burn fans that badly, they remember, they do. And you can try to win them back, but a lot of times it's too late. It's like you had the support of all these people, and then you literally just told them to go get Ben.
Yeah, and what's funny, because when you look back on this, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, there's going to see this time frame for 5 or 6 years where these companies made the most idiotic decisions with franchises. Yeah. And the ones that survive it, might still be around, but a lot of them might not make it past the next year or two because they keep making stupid bonehead decisions, and it's going to be looked at as, here's what you don't do.
Yeah. I think Ghostbusters was a prime lesson in what not to do. Mm-hmm. But Sony walked it back on Afterlife.
Star Trek, Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Doctor Who,
watch Lord of the Rings,
He-Man, Lord of the Rings. So I go on. Yeah. Terminator.
Any classic IP that once it's out of the hands of its originator, original owners, it tends to get the corporate.
Rinse?
Spanking. The corporate rinse. Yeah, I was going to say spanking, slapping. Anyway, let's talk about this. Russell T Davies, I joked before, I said the only way they could actually save this show is if they brought Russell T Davies back and David Tennant. I said, you want to fix the show? You bring Russell T Davies back and David Tennant, and you let them do their thing, and that'll fix the show. And by God, Russell T Davies is coming back. I never thought I would see it.
And now the rumor is.
Again,
rumor.
David Tennant. Big rumor. It's actually
If you don't know what rumor means, go look it up.
Yeah. Plymouth Live. It's getting a lot of traction. Even Doctor Who TV .co.uk has it. According to rumors, David Tennant, who played the 10th Doctor between 2005 and 2010, who is still, I believe in polls, the most popular Doctor, has been cast as the next Doctor. And if the circulating rumors are to be believed, it would make the Scottish actor the first and only actor to play 2 incarnations of the Time Lord. The tip-off was spotted on a Facebook fan page in which a user suggested a credible BBC source had leaked the information. The user claims this source is the same person who leaked the casting of Sacha Dhawan as the Doctor's nemesis, the Master, in Series 12. I think it's plausible. I really do. They need to save this show. And the quickest fix, go back to the beginning. Bring Russell T Davies back and David Tennant. Now, that being said, unless they get rid of the Chibnall retcon, which was a massive fuck you to fans, unless they completely obliterate that timeline, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter what they do because we're still playing by the same stupid rules that Chibnall set up.
What are they going to do? It's like he wakes up and he's still a doctor and he just dreamt the last 3 incarnations.
That would be amazing.
And he's like, shit. And then Rose is like, it's okay, honey, go back to bed. No,
oh my God. Either that or it's the other universe Doctor or something. I don't know. They said the original source of the rumor suggests Tennant's only going to be the Doctor for 3 specials, and then another actor is going to take over after that. Could this have any truth? As the frequently most popular voted Doctor, Tennant would certainly draw many fans back from a show that lost a substantial amount of viewers in recent years.
Oh, that's lies. Weren't these like same kind of people that were like, you're lying? When people would point out the massive amount of viewers like leaving the show, nah, it's not true. That's impossible.
Russell T Davies is reassembling some of his old team, so it would not be odd for him to bring back his former leading man. Russell T Davies' first episode is also the 60th anniversary, which would likely be bringing back past Doctors anyway, and we'd be very surprised if Tennant wasn't one of them. For in-story reasons, we know it's possible for the Doctor to keep an appearance. He purposely kept the same face in Journey's End. And the Curator also showed up in Day of the Doctor. That is their out. That is their, like, they can always play this card and be like, oh, okay, well, Doctor can go back and basically regenerate into any past regeneration. Sure, we can have David Tennant come back. He didn't want to go.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go, so, hey, he's back.
I still think that it would be smarter to be like, oh, you know what? I never left.
That would be amazing. A lot of people.
But it's not really fair to like Matt Smith and stuff.
No, a lot of people said that they consider the end of Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi, unless they get rid of the Chibnall era, it's done. Like, I mean, the canon's been destroyed. I mean, Doctor Who's always been kind of, loose with the canon, but like, there are no stakes, and
I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. I cannot wrap my head around this. How can we make it more diverse? It was always diverse. We're going to retcon this more than anything's ever been retconned before.
Yeah, it was that literally what they did with Doctor Who was like the biggest FU retcon.
Hold my plunger.
To any fandom ever. I mean, that was absolutely insane. It was like, oh yeah, literally everything you thought you knew about this character in this show, we're throwing it all out the window.
Because it's us and we can, and because we want to, insert our friends.
Yeah. So, I think, and the thing about this too that's so irritating is like, if you wanted a female Doctor or female Time Lord, where the hell is Romana? Like, you could bring Romana back at any point in time. She was a very popular character. Bring her back, and you could spin her off into her own show, her own TARDIS, and she can fight her own all new, all different, all diverse cast of villains. She doesn't have to hang out with the Doctor. Just do like they do with Torchwood and have like a backdoor pilot episode. Hey, it's the return of Romana. Cool. Okay, cool. Now get the hell out of here and go do your own thing. And you can go watch the Romana show, or you can watch Doctor Who.
Well, I mean, you could have had Doctor Who could have been a female, and it could have worked if it wasn't for the shitty storylines, the retconning, the bad behavior towards fans, all that shit. They did it to themselves because they thought, they knew better.
Yeah, and that's just it. We have people that come in the shows, they think, especially established franchises, And I'm not saying you have to treat the franchise with kid gloves and not change it up at all, but you do have to treat the franchise with respect and respect.
The fans with respect.
Yeah, the fans with respect.
Well, I mean, I thought Moffat was bad. I'm not gonna lie. I like early Moffat stuff. I thought was great, but by the time he was like towards the end of Capaldi, I was like, I'm sorry, Clara. I hate Clara. I don't care if you like Clara. I don't like Clara. I'm gonna tell you too. I'm not a River Song fan. I don't like River Song either. I'm just gonna piss you all off. I don't care. I just thought some of his choices were colossally stupid. And he kept doing these episodes where it went from being the fun episodes to like, you have to watch the whole thing and be confused to the end when it all comes together and you see how clever I am. I mean, he literally was Dr. Clever. He thought he was Dr. Clever. And it really annoyed me and it got worse and worse and worse. And by the end of Capaldi, I'm just like, fuck it. I don't even want to watch this anymore because that's another case of where drunk with power, I am, Doctor Who. And then Chibnall's like, hold my beer. And then he makes it worse. I checked out a long time ago.
That was a shame about Capaldi because I personally, as far as doctors
they
go,
misused him.
He was amazing. When he was on and he actually had a monologue or a good script to work with, he was incredible. I freaking loved him.
You caveat. You had to have something good to work with.
That's just it.
And that's why I checked out. Because I was
wasted.
Like, oh my God. And then you have Bill. Guess what? She's a lesbian. Nobody cared, but they had to make sure you knew that 5 times an episode.
Oh my God, it was after a while, it was like, hey, I'm Bill, I'm gay, I like girls, did I mention
I was like, yeah, and?
Pussy.
Don't care. You can like girls, don't care. But I don't know why you have to keep telling me. I mean, it was like the other episodes of Doctor Who. You didn't have to say, I'm the doctor and I'm straight. I like pussy. I'm straight. I'm straight. Did I mention I'm straight?
That's the musical.
And I'm like, nobody cared. I mean, then you had Captain Jack, and he liked anything with legs, or probably some things that didn't have legs, and everybody thought it was great, because nobody cared about who they slept with. They just wanted good characters, but they spent so much time with Bill, going on about how Bill liked women, and it was I was like, oh my God, we know!
Gotta make sure that you know how diverse and inclusive they are. It's funny. I don't think Captain Jack's going to be back in New Doctor Who, given that he used to whip his sausage.
Apparently, yeah, he flashed that everywhere.
Yeah.
But and then the other
everyone's seen Jack's.
Yeah, little Jack.
Jack's Link.
Jack's Link. I was gonna say too about Claire.
Jimmy Dean.
Claire was another one I couldn't stand. Did we mention she's the chosen one? Did we mention that she's
She's basically the Doctor.
Do we mention that she's the bestest thing ever and she's girl power incarnate and go Clara, Clara. Don't care. Hate Clara. Sorry.
So there are a lot bigger issues in fixing this show than just bringing Russell T Davies and David Tennant back. I mean, I think it would be a step in the right direction, but they're gonna have to retcon this shit. They're gonna have to fix it. They're gonna have to get a damn good companion. And if they're only using Tennant for 3 episodes to kind of ease people back in the show, that's gonna be a lot of people are gonna feel.
He's the lube.
He's the lube. We're gonna lube you up with David, and then we're gonna drive you home with I don't know, whoever the hell else are gonna get in. I don't know, guys, but it's an interesting rumor. I think it might be true. It feels like it could be true because I never thought Russell T Davies would come back. So it is the 60th anniversary. Hey, 60th anniversary, great time to just undo the fuckery that was Chris Chibnall. They can use wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff and go back and be like, yeah, that shit never happened.
That'd be great.
All right, so gonna wrap it up?
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.